All right, here we go. Everybody, welcome to our summer 2025 RevenueCat launch party. We're very happy to have you all joining us. We'll give it a minute or two here for people to join so we can go ahead and get started. I'm Dan from the product team here at RevenueCat, where we are in the business of helping apps make more money. Hopefully, if you're on here, you know that already, but just in case you don't, that's what we do. We're so glad you guys are all joining us today. Go ahead and let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We'd love to hear it. We're going to be showing off a bunch of new things in the product that have shipped in the last couple of months, and some that are coming soon. Let me actually just give a quick little preview of what that's going to look like. We've got a ton on the agenda for today. So first, we're going to be showing off what's new in experiments, what's new in paywalls, what's new in our web product, virtual currencies, customer center. Maybe some of you are watching today and might not know what some of those things refer to. If that's the case, you're in the right place. We're going to go through all of that today and hopefully show you how you could use those things to make more money in your app business. We're also going to be demoing some new products like our Cursor MCP extension, our Zendesk integration. So lots of new stuff to check out today. You are definitely going to want to stay tuned the whole time. We're also going to be showing you all of that in our brand new dashboard experience. So if you've not seen it yet, this is going to look very different than the RevenueCat that you're used to. If you've not seen it yet, you're in luck too. You're going to get the grand tour today. We're kind of going to go through section by section and show you what's new and give you a tour of this new experience. Today, you can get access to it by checking your account settings and toggling it on. We're also going to make that quite a bit easier to access too. We'll talk more about that later today at the end of the session. So a couple of quick PSAs up front. First, we are definitely going to fill the 90 minutes today. So grab a drink, grab a snack, settle in, get comfortable. We've got a lot to show off. And we'll get to the demos in a second. But before we do that, just a little bit of housekeeping. We would love to hear your questions and feedback. That's a main reason why we do this, so that we can show you the products that we're working on and you can tell us what you're looking for. We'll do our best to scan through the chat and see what you guys are asking, but the best way to get your questions seen and answered is going to be to put it right in the questions section. If you're joining us on the live stream, you should see that question section. That'll also let others upvote those questions so we can make sure that we answer the things that are most on your guys' mind. So please be sure to do that. All right, with all of that being said, we're going to jump right into the demos. The first thing that we're going to be showcasing today is what's new in our experiments product. And to do that, I've got Milena who's about to join us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Milena. I'm a senior product manager at RevenueCat. And what I work on at RevenueCat are the data and analytics part of our product. So things like charts, experiments, customer lists. I'm really excited today to be sharing what's new in experiments. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and let's get started. All right. So we are here over on the new experiments page. Dan kind of previewed our new navigation here, but you can see that we have experiments here, and that's the page that we're on. And I'm going to start by creating a new experiment just to showcase some of the new features that we have. So one of the things you might notice right away is we have this new notes field. This is your home to write down anything that would be helpful to reference back to as you're looking at experiments. So I might suggest things like experiment hypotheses, some ideas and thoughts about why you're running the experiment. Really helpful context for referring back to later when you're looking at the experiment results. Next, we're going to be moving down into offerings. So we've heard that you want to be able to test more than one offering at the same time in an experiment. So basically expanding beyond an A/B test to an A/B/C/D test. And that's the thing that we're excited to be offering now. So you can click on add variant here and add variant C, as you see, came up right here, and variant D. So we're hoping this helps you test things a lot faster and be able to learn more quickly using RevenueCat experiments. All right, so those are the two things I had to call out on the creating experiment side. Now we're going to move into some results. So these are real results from a test that we ran in Dipsy, which is an app that we acquired last year. And what's so cool about this is you can see some real results for those ABCD tests that I just talked about. So I'm going to scroll down here to this customer journey table. I know it's an area that a lot of people like to look at when they're looking at experiment results, just to show you how this works. So you can see now there's a new column for variant C and variant D, and you can see all of your metrics that you care about. for all of your variants. And to be able to see the percentage change between two different variants, so to compare two variants, you can use this dropdown up here. So right now it's comparing variant A to variant B in this percent change column. But you can go ahead and select a different variant. So for example, variant A versus variant C, and then really easily see what that percent change difference is there. So this is how you can analyze some of those multivariate results that you might be running in the future. So one other metric I want to call out is a new metric that we're offering is paywall viewers. And this is really helpful if you're running a paywall experiment. And what this metric represents is the number of customers who reach the paywall, so that you can be able to tell how many in each variant did that. And one more thing to call out about this metric is you might notice for some tests that you're running, this number will be 0. And the reason behind that is because it's currently supported only if you're using a RevenueCat paywall. So in this case, variant A was not using a RevenueCat paywall. That's why you're seeing a 0 here. And we have that called out right here. In case you forget that in the future, you can just see really easily what's going on with that number. All right. And one more thing I wanted to share on this page before we move on is this notes field again. So maybe you didn't get a chance to add any notes at the beginning of an experiment when you were creating it, but you want to record things like some observations you made in the results, or which variant you feel won and why, your analysis about why that is. What you can do is click this edit button here, and then you're able to add notes from the results page as well. So you can add in bullet points with your observations and other ideas that you want to be able to refer back to later. So that's a great way to be able to capture all the things you're learning as you're looking at an experiment. So
one quick thing too to call out here, like for this particular test, like Milena said, this was actually something that we ran because like there was a hypothesis that we needed answered. There's actually 2 hypotheses we were trying to answer. One was like, what's the difference between a native paywall versus a paywall that's run through RevenueCat? And then the second was testing different web CTA experiences based on the changes from the Apple ruling. So of course you can use like multivariate testing to just test a couple of different iterations of one hypothesis. You could also wrap together a couple of different hypotheses and then compare the differences between those and use the notes to actually like jot down, like, what did you learn from that? Like in our case, we learned that the V2 paywall actually performed a little bit better, which was interesting. We wanted to find out why that was. And then separately had a like different set of results for the web variants and could capture all of that quite easily.
Yeah, that's a great example, Dan, of how you can capture the things you're learning and make sure that all that's available within RevenueCat. So when you look back at it, you can remember everything you learned. All right. And one last thing I want to call out before we wrap up for experiments for today. Another new powerful feature is around being able to make it faster to make new experiments. And the way this works is that right now we offer a lot of different enrollment criteria, which is great because you're able to run an experiment on a very specific set of people. But sometimes it can get pretty advanced. So you might have like a country that you're adding enrollment criteria on, and an app version, et cetera, et cetera. And it can be a lot of work to reconfigure this for multiple experiments. So we want to make this a lot easier for folks. And that's why we have a new feature called duplicate. So if you've run an experiment in the past and you want to reuse that enrollment criteria, what you can do is click on duplicate. It'll bring you to this experiment creation page, and then you can see all that enrollment criteria from this test has been duplicated into this new test, which makes it a lot faster to run new experiments without having to go in and set this every single time. So hopefully this makes it faster to run new experiments, follow-on experiments, et cetera, within the product. And yeah, that's all I have today to share for new experiments. So would love to hear your questions in the questions section. I'm going to be sticking around and answering questions. And thanks so much today.
Awesome. Thanks, Milena. We got one quick one here from Dean of whether or not the paywall viewers metric is available to see outside of an experiment. I can give the quick answer there, which is basically no, not today, but in development right now. We're actually working on a paywall conversion chart that'll basically let you see the number of paywall viewers each day and then the conversion rate from viewer to paid, as well as a couple of other metrics like the portion of those that started making a purchase but then canceled it before it was completed, those that abandoned without making the purchase entirely. So that'll all be coming soon using that same data source that Experiments is using right now. Let's just see if there are any other questions on Experiments. I don't think so. So, Melina, if you don't mind sticking around, that would be great. We'll see if there are any other questions in the chat. But outside of that, thanks so much for the demo.
Thank you.
All right. So speaking of experiments and things that you might want to test in experiments, we want to talk about what's new in our Paywalls product. So to do that, Josh is going to be joining me on here in a second. Yo, Josh.
Here? Am I here?
You are. You sound great.
Thank you. All right. So I'm Josh Holtz. I'm the engineering manager here on the monetization and Paywalls team. I've been on a few launch parties before, demoing Paywalls V2 beta, Paywalls V1, I think multi-tier Paywalls, some targeting stuff. So today it is Paywalls again. Oh, I gotta share my screen. That's the thing, isn't it? Okay. I'm qualified. Okay. I think this is it. Okay. So this is new dashboard that we've seen before. Tease a little bit. I'm gonna go into the Paywalls part. So I got a launch party project. I'm gonna go to the Paywalls tab over here, and I have a pizza party paywall that I'm gonna show later. One thing that we added recently is you can now create a paywall without an offering. So you can just go in, blank canvas, play around with it. No need to actually commit to anything. We have a lot more templates than I think we did from our beta announcement. I don't know the exact number. Dan might. It is a growing number. For the sake of this part, I'm just going to start from scratch, which we don't usually recommend because it is more work. But this is a good way to demo some of our newest things. So the first bit is under add component. Previously, we had this modal that you had like a choice of 5 things and you had to go and do a lot of clicking. Now we have what we call style components and this whole new sidebar where we can go through stuff. So you can still click add a text. You can add an image. These are the components that we've already had. But now if we go hover over package, we'll see here that we actually have some predefined styles that you can start from. You don't have to go in and create all this yourself. You're essentially putting mini templates into your big paywall. So I can click on this set of packages here and I get this stack that has this package. I can go in, change it the way I want, but I don't have to go in and do every like nitty gritty change. I can just start with this small little thing. So we're just actually going to delete this and start back over. So purchase button has the same thing, but we also have some components that are not actual components that you saw before. They are, oh my goodness, that's the other word, aggregated components of other components. That's not the right word. I can't think of it. Composed, that's the word, I think. But we can go to social proof here. I can add a social proof component. So we can add this one that has a list of reviews, either ones that actually did happen or ones that you want to make up for your paywall. No one's going to know. But you can go in and add that. We're just going to delete those.
And importantly, too, this is all in the context of starting from scratch, but you could also use these to like remix any of the templates that we've created, right? Start from the template, pull out the packages, put one of these package selectors instead, and you've got your new starting point.
Yeah. It's a fantastic start, or not start, fantastic way to kind of edit more powerfully, or if you want to create a paywall super fast, this is the way to do it. We also have new components. So you'll see here we have carousel, one that was highly requested. This carousel that I have here is just images. I can click on the first page. This is the first page. We have Shippy skateboarding. Click on the second page. There's Shippy carrying a bunch of boxes. Click on the third page. Shippy's hiding in a bush for some reason. No idea why. But carousel is here. It's a new component that we added. You can add new pages, duplicate pages. You can gain control of styling the indicators here. So I can change like my active indicator to be 50 pixels wide. So when I change through it kind of shows a lot bigger. You have full control. So that is one of our newest components. And then another one that we added that was a huge request is tab/multi-tier, however you want to say it. So we have different styles here for standard premium. You have like this square one, you have some pill shaped ones, ones that look like a Android kind of style there. So you can choose any. We're going to go in here. This is where you can see the different tabs and the tab content. So right now I'm looking at the yearly one. I'm looking at the monthly one. I can add, I don't know, I can add some packages here to make it look different. So the monthly one has this style packages. I can go to yearly. I can see yearly does not have any packages. So we can add, I don't know, I'll add a shippy button there. So you have full control over the styles of the tabs, how many tabs are there, and then the content within the tabs. Dan, is that everything from style components?
I think so. In terms of the new components, that covers it quite well.
Nice. Okay, so then from there, I am going to discard these changes because that is not a paywall I should ship. We have some more changes now that I'm going to demo with our iOS app. So this is a paywall I created for Pizza Party. It has a carousel up top. It has multi-tier. If you haven't seen this yet, we have an iOS app on the store. Android one is coming, I believe. If not, I just promised work for an entire new team. But I'm going to go to our launch party column over, or launch party button. I'm going to go to paywalls, and I can see all the paywalls I have here. I'm going to click on launch party 2025 June, right? That's the month. Yeah. Okay, cool. It's this one. So carousel up top, that's rotating. Obnoxious, but it is what it is. Multi-tab working here. So user could click between monthly, yearly in the cheese tier, or go to Supreme and click whichever one they want in the Supreme tier. The continue button doesn't work because I'm in the RC iOS app. I can't actually purchase anything. But one of the things that we added for the previewer here and also in the dashboard and for the SDKs is an improvement to fonts. Fonts were a huge pain point before. You had to put in your font name and make sure that it matched with the font that was in your app, either the font family name in iOS or the name of the resource in Android. And it was a huge pain point. It was a thing that you had to pretty much be a developer of the app for. So we changed it. It's much easier. So what we're going to do now is I lost my mouse. I'm going to take this text here, that's system font. We're going to change it. I'm going to click on the gear and I can upload a font. So I'm going to take this one that I have that is called Sauce Tomato and done. So upload a font. I'm going to change this now to be Sauce Tomato. So what we did was we uploaded, you can either upload an OTF or a TTF file, and then we store that. And the cool thing is the SDKs pull that font file down. You don't have to store it in your app anymore. It's all magic. So we're going to update all of these to be the Sauce Tomato. There we go. Okay, I'm going to click save. And then I'm going to go over into the RC iOS app. We're going to make sure I refresh. There's something with S. It has to pull down all the assets. We're going to give it a little bit of time. But I can see that I have now a draft here. Ideally, it should have a font. There it is. Cool. All right. So fonts. You don't have to include any fonts in your app anymore. We give you the fonts all remote. It's super magic. Works on iOS and Android. You can preview in web. You can upload a bunch of fonts at once. So I'm going to upload, I think, 18 different Poppins fonts right now. I'm not sure how long it's going to take. Actually, not bad. Not bad. So you can see now it grouped all of the Poppins fonts here into one font family. Have a bunch of different styles. I can go into here and I can change this title now to be Poppins with all the different weights and whatnot. Is that everything? I think that's everything that we launched. Is that correct, Dan?
I think so.
Okay. Well, now what we do have is we have stuff that we didn't launch yet. So this is a pre-launch party. You can see we have a coming soon down at the bottom. What the coming soon does is we have a bottom sheet. So things are, I have auto rotate on. I'm going to stop that. I have a list of things that are coming soon. We ended up making a paywall editor and also a keynote slide deck of some sort. So that's how I'm going to use this. We're going to go this way. We have sheets, surprise, bottom sheets. You can attach them to a button. They show a sheet. We're going to allow you to change animation, speed, that kind of stuff. Right now, it is not there because we haven't released it yet. Video is coming soon, also in the works. It'll be we'll allow inline video, kind of like what Image does, and a background as well. What is next? Screen size overrides. So you'll be able to adjust your paywall for different screen sizes. If you have a small phone, you can make different font sizes. You can change how things lay out. If you want to display it on a big phone, tablet, or billboard in Times Square, whatever that size is, you'll have full control. Catalyst and Mac OS support. This is also in the works. No ETA on it yet, but we'll be able to show these paywalls on soon to be almost every Apple platform. Catalyst and Mac coming first. We'll let you know when those are available. Promotional offers and offer codes. You'll be able to apply promotional offers to different products that are on your paywall and then have a button to enter an offer code. Again, not yet, on the way. So many open PRs. Paywalls grid. So on the dashboard, instead of seeing this table, which is very not helpful when you're trying to figure out what paywall you want to edit, you'll be able to see a grid of a preview of all the paywalls. So that's coming soon. And then in charts, I think this is happening. If not, another team is going to start working on it right now. We have paywalls conversion charts. Dan, I think that's happening, right?
Yep. We talked about it earlier too.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Dan already teased that. So yeah, that is everything that is in paywalls and coming to paywalls.
I love it. We have a couple of questions. Some got answered already, but I'll just start popping some of them out here. Marissa asks, what's the timing for the promo codes?
If you're on my laptop, it's right now, but you're probably not. So it will be sometime next week. We have to ship SDKs and front end and back end updates for it. So I'm going to say next week sometime is when it'll come to the SDKs.
Yeah, this is what Josh and I were working on before we started this launch party. So hopefully that answers the question. We've got another one here from Eric. Looking to understand how to set up promos and unique user promotion codes that we can track and use as ongoing referral promotions. I think the quick answer there is that for the moment, we'll be tapping into the existing App Store systems for this. So not necessarily creating the code in RevenueCat, just reusing the offer code of the promotional offer that you've created already. In terms of being able to do this all within RevenueCat in the future, that's definitely on our minds. Not on the roadmap right now specifically, but very much on our minds. I think there was a couple of others that got answered in the chat already. You answered about the fonts working on iOS and Android, so just PSA for everyone. That's available everywhere. And then this was a fun one. Someone asked if it's available for the Capacitor SDK. That is a change since the last time we did one of these.
Oh yeah, I didn't announce that. Yes, yeah, Capacitor SDK is out. I think it's been out for three weeks maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right. Something in that range. All right. I think we covered all the questions here. Josh, anything else you wanted to add while you're here?
I don't think so. I'm going to go back to getting promotional offers shipped. So
cool. All right.
Thanks,
Josh,
Dan.
we'll be around in the chat for a couple of minutes if you guys do have any other paywalls questions. But other than that, thanks so much for the demo, Josh.
All right. See you, everyone.
All right. So speaking of paywalls stuff, you guys might be aware there was a ruling against Apple in the last couple of months that made it possible for you to put buttons in your app that point to some other purchase flow besides in-app purchase. We have a web product already that was kind of designed with other use cases in mind that we've been working on for the last couple of weeks to get it set up for that use case as well. So to talk about kind of all things web, Ed and Ika are going to be joining me.
Hey, thanks, Dan. I have to remember next time to try and not follow the Paywalls folks because we seem to get into a habit of doing that. And that was tough act to follow, but we'll try. We've been busy in web, as you can imagine, with everything going on. So yeah, I'm just going to share my screen here. A couple of slides just to recap what we've been up to. There's, like I said, a lot, and the space that we're in is also changing pretty quickly. And worth recapping what we're doing in web. Like, what is RevenueCat Web? In general, we're working very hard to build a set of features to help you folks, to help developers implement payments on the web really easily. We want to leverage the flexibility that web offers. We've built our own billing engine to help make this super simple to integrate, which is called RC Web Billing, which is also powered by Stripe's payment gateway. So again, when it comes to handling like credit card data, that's all in good hands. And we're offering a system that gives you kind of unified entitlements and experience across obviously mobile and also web, so we can really plug into what the RevenueCat platform does. Our goal or our mission here is to make RevenueCat Web the best solution for mobile developers that are getting started with purchases on the web. So yeah, we've had a busy 2025. A quick wrap up of the things that we've been working on. We actually launched out of beta earlier this year. We very quickly added one-click wallet support for Apple Pay and Google Pay, which makes the checkout like way smoother, down to just a couple of clicks if your subscribers are using those payment methods on mobile. We've added VAT and sales tax support with Stripe Tax. More on that in a second. We're actually going to demo that for you. App to web payments, maybe the elephant in the room. For US stores now, you have the ability to put a web purchase button in your paywall. More on that again in a second. We've redesigned a customer portal so that your subscribers can manage their subscription in a way that's really seamless. Again, coming up in a demo shortly. We've added support for purchase metadata and UTM tracking. So if you're doing paid campaigns and you have users landing on web purchase links, you can also track and attribute those campaigns. And we've added some small things like the ability to skip the product selection. So if you're hand building, you've got your own paywall experience, you want to skip directly to the checkout, you can actually do that now with a URL parameter. And just a couple of weeks ago, we increased our currency support where we added 34 new currencies. So if you're selling globally, I'm pretty sure there's not a currency you would need that we don't offer, but please shout loudly if that's not true. Yeah, and as I mentioned, probably the big story of the year so far, app to web is currently unlocked in the US. Just a pointer to go and check out our recap on the conversion experiment we did with Diffsy, which was also kind of previewed a bit earlier. TLDR, I think the jury's out on this. It's definitely something that could be worth experimenting with in your app. And fortunately, we're building the tools for you to go and do that. So definitely check that out.
Oh, wait, Ed, can I interrupt you? Because we got a perfectly timed question. That it's a slightly complicated one, but what about app to web payments outside of the US?
Yeah, we're ready. And that's the best we can do, right? Like if that opens up in the coming weeks or months, we have the tools there to enable that. Again, obviously that's in theory, you could submit something to the store with a web purchase button today. That's more down to Apple letting it through than us. But yeah, we're going to keep pushing in this area because we think that obviously more flexibility for developers with web payments makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, we get kind of zero inside information here, but you can pretty much guarantee if something changes there, we will let you know about it ASAP.
Yep. Great. Let's dive into demo. I would also call on my trusty colleague and designer Igor as well, who's going to help us through this. Please shout if this is too small, and I'll make it bigger. I have kind of a big screen in front of me here. So, all right, we've landed in the RevenueCat dashboard with the snazzy new vertical menu. Probably the first thing to mention here is this is something we've been working on. It's not yet available to you, so this will be like coming soon. We're building a new home for everything web in our dashboard. What this is doing is kind of bringing together everything related to your web payment providers, aggregating together all of your purchase links, and giving the ability to eventually like see data and everything related to the web payments that are going through your system. We're working on this right now internally. We are hoping to ship it very soon as we think there's a build of it that is useful. I can tell you personally, I'm already relying on this page to get an overview of everything web, so I think that'll be pretty soon. I wanted to start out by showing you our Stripe Tax support. So in case you're not aware, we've just added support for Stripe tax within RC Web Billing. What that means is, just very quickly, I've got my test Stripe dashboard here. Stripe tax is driven from within the Stripe dashboard. So here I can monitor my tax thresholds. I can understand like when I would need to register for taxes in a certain location. And what I can actually do here is add tax registrations that are then used from within the RevenueCat dashboard and the purchase flows that are attached to RevenueCat Web. So that's the Stripe side. Let's assume I've configured this and enabled Stripe tax. I can then go back into my RevenueCat dashboard. And if I go to the settings, this is my web billing payment provider settings. We have a simple checkbox here to turn on Stripe tax and configure a tax code for the product. What that translates over to is what I'll show you now. So here's my web purchase links, which, to remind you, are hosted payment flows. So basically zero code to set up a purchase flow that you can distribute to your users. I'm going to load this one here. This is our product selection page. It's looking better than ever. We obviously allow full customization here. That's something that you can actually configure within the dashboard. As I mentioned as well, you can skip this page now if you want. Simple like package ID in the URL, and you can fast forward users directly to the checkout. Let's choose a package. Let's pick a monthly with 1 week free trial. Okay, so what's happening here when I land on this page? We're talking to Stripe tax. We're making a determination about where the subscriber is based. We're looking at the registered tax rates that you have in your Stripe account. And if for the product category that you're selling, the user should pay tax or tax should be included in the transaction, we're actually including that here. There's 2 different behaviors for tax. So US and Canada always has tax added on top of the product price. So the product price here would actually have tax added, and the users, subscribers would pay like an increased amount. For the rest of the world, tax is always inclusive in the price. So the product price that you see on the product selection page is always the price that the users pay. Here you can see I'm based in Germany, so we've added 19% VAT, but it's inclusive, so it's not actually added to the cost. Let's see, what else have we added here? Yes, just to call out the express checkout. So if you've added Apple Pay or Google Pay, this is now like a direct Apple Pay button. I'm not sure if any of you remember how this was before. There was just a few more clicks to get to that experience. If your users check out with Apple Pay today, we actually pull a lot more information from the wallet. So like the email now is something that comes directly from that. You don't have to have people fill out anything at all. They can just click the native prompt and immediately get access to the subscription. Awkward silence while I fill in some test card numbers. Obviously, this is a sandbox transaction.
I'll just make a quick note while you're doing that. Like, what's so cool about this is the fact that, like, one of the great benefits of the mobile stores is that you get all of this automatically, right? Like, it just works. You don't really have to think about taxes. This is at a very similar level, right? It's just a matter of configuring it, right? If you've gotten to the point where your app is successful and growing and you're thinking about adding web, like, this is easy compared to everything else that you've done already.
Yeah, and also to add on that, like Stripe is making it easier than ever to kind of register for tax as well. Like they actually have a service where they'll do that automatically. There's also a decision when it comes to selling on the web. You can decide to act as your own merchant and go down this Stripe tax route, which I think is definitely the easiest way to do that. There is another option as well, and just to kind of tease, we'll get to that in a minute. We have something coming there if you do not want to be a merchant. For now, let's start the trial here. So this is completing the purchase. And once the payment's complete, again, just a reminder, we have a completely customizable post-purchase experience. You can redirect your subscribers to your own website or your own custom success page. Here, because I'm using redemption links, which is our deep linking feature that allows me to actually identify the subscribers after the purchase is complete, meaning I don't have to add any app user ID to the URL. Here we see the kind of redemption step. And because I'm on desktop, I see a QR code so that your subscribers can really easily scan that, be led directly into your mobile app where we'll then identify them and attach the purchase. If I was on a mobile device here, I would see the button for the deep link immediately. Cool. Next thing we want to show you quickly is the customer portal. So here's a long list of receipts from test transactions. Your subscribers are going to get an email immediately. And if you're using redemption links, they'll see the redemption instructions there. There's always a link in every transaction to our customer portal. And wanted to hand over quickly to Iga to talk you through what we've done here and what we've redesigned.
Yeah, sure. So as you can see, we've now aligned the customer portal with the design of the checkout. So it's a consistent experience. And I'm going to just walk you through quickly some of the features that are there. So you can see that one feature is coming soon, which is the change subscription. And over there, we would be able to change the subscription to either an upgrade or a downgrade path that you'll be able to set up within the dashboard. So you'll be able to point directly to the products that you want to upgrade or downgrade to and display them to the customer within those flows. For upgrades, the customers will get access immediately and they would pay immediately, and then we would process a refund. And for downgrades, it will happen at the end of the billing cycle. So we can click this just to see the flow. Yeah. And you can also cancel the subscription here. And for the payments, we have now integrated them with the Stripe tax. So you are able to also download receipts and invoices. We're still waiting for the sandbox timing to pass. So we are still in the trial period.
Yeah. Worth mentioning here as well, we've completely overhauled our invoices and receipts to be tax compliant. So you can add like a custom footer if you have legal language that you need to include there related to tax. You can add your business tax ID and things. Maybe not the most interesting topic, but it's necessary, and we've made sure that's there as well.
Yeah, exactly. So
cool.
Of course,
Anything
this is not showing the payments as we want to show them, but you'll be able to see the customer portal.
Awesome.
Nice. Thanks, Iga. One more thing then. So I mentioned you have two options. You can do taxes. You can use Stripe Tax to help you register. You can be your own merchant. The other only option really is something called merchant of record, which is to go with a provider that actually takes care of all of that and handles the taxes, the compliance, and technically legally becomes the merchant for your product. There's a number of vendors in this space. But yeah, for the first time, happy to announce that we're partnering with Paddle here and adding the first kind of non-RevenueCat billing engine inside of RC Web. So you can see here on the web page, we actually have a second provider, which is Paddle. And I'll quickly show you this, although a small caveat that like we're working on this right now. There may be things here that are not final or that are a bit rough around the edges. How this works is right now you'll be able to use Paddle as an alternative payment provider inside a web purchase link. So the hosted link that you can share with subscribers, you can switch that now to use Paddle if you've connected your Paddle account. This means you are no longer creating products and prices and subscriptions inside of RevenueCat. We're using the products and prices and subscriptions that exist in your Paddle account. So it's very much like an external billing engine experience. What I can do here is copy the purchase link, which is very similar to the one I've just used to demo this. You'll see a very unstyled product selection here. This will change. It will look, in theory, exactly like the one that I just showed you for web billing. What's different here is we no longer have our own checkout. We're actually putting you through an embedded Paddle checkout. So again, what you see here is 100% Paddle. You'll have the opportunity to customize this. There's a lot of parameters you can set, like whether your subscribers can like increase the quantity of the purchase. Everything related to payment methods and anything else are configurable inside of Paddle as well. So again, awkward silence while I paste in test card details, and we'll see if we can complete the purchase here.
I'll throw in a question of my own. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that means then if you're using like a paywall and putting like a web purchase button on it, in theory, that could also direct to a paddle checkout instead of an NRC billing checkout if that happens to be the billing engine you're using, because you've got that link that got set up through RevenueCat.
Exactly. So yeah, the benefit of using web purchase links is all of the features that we're building around that, whether that's on the app side with the web purchase button, or the post-purchase experience in redemption links, like getting people deep linked back into your app. All of those things will still work, just with Paddle in the middle as a payment provider.
Right.
Yeah. So there we go. Transactions complete. We should in a second get redirected. Yeah. So similar like post-purchase experience. Obviously, I can completely customize this. Redemption links will work, so I'll be able to deep link users back into the app. Yeah, that's it. One more thing to mention. Introductory offers are also coming soon. This is the first form of discounting inside of RevenueCat Web Billing. You'll be able to define like per currency introductory pricing phases alongside trials. We're building this in a really flexible way, so you actually be able to stack it with free trials and introductory phases together. This is the first step towards like coupon-based flexible discounts. I know a lot of you are waiting for us to support that really flexible form of discounting. This is also something that's coming in Q3 as well. So yeah, quick recap. 3 big things that are coming soon. Intro offers, as I just mentioned. Subscription changes are the other, I think, second is requested feature. If you have a model that relies on users upgrading over time, this is really important. And then finally, Paddle billing as our first alternative billing engine with inside RC Web.
Awesome.
That's it. Thanks.
Awesome. So we had a bunch of questions. I think you answered most of them actually in the presentation already, and a couple got answered in the chat. Questions about country availability, which just to clarify out loud, our note before about US versus EU is specifically putting a button in your app. The web billing engine absolutely works in other countries and other currencies, as we just showed off. Maybe the one thing I'll plus one, a question from Dan that already got answered in the chat, who's asking if we've done any experiments on the performance of our web paywalls compared to Stripe's payment links. Jens already answered that the answer is not yet for now, but that actually would be a like fascinating next iteration for us, right? We went in-app purchase versus our web purchase. We could do our web purchase versus other web purchase destinations, and maybe turn that into something we can share.
Yeah, totally. And one of the things we've actually implemented as a result of the Dipsy experiment is the ability for us to monitor performance on a much more granular level in the purchase flow. So we're on a ramp now to reducing friction there and increasing conversion over time. But yeah, definitely something we can do more experiments around.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks very much for the time, guys. If anyone has any other questions about web, feel free to keep asking them in the chat. We'll stick around for a little bit to answer those. But other than that, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
All right. So unsurprisingly, we have been spending a bunch of time so far talking about different ways to accept payments and make purchases and show paywalls and run experiments and all that jazz. We've got one more topic very much in that vein, which is virtual currencies. Basically a different type of product that you might be looking to sell through RevenueCat. So to catch you up on what's new in virtual currency land, since the last time we did one of these, I've got Tina joining us. Hi, Tina.
Yeah, hi, and hello, everyone. I'm sure you've also seen me in many past launch parties as well. My name is Tina, and I'm a product manager here at RevenueCat. And today I will be talking about virtual currencies. Let me get my screen up here just to make sure we're all good and cool. So virtual currencies, I guess to kick us off here, let's maybe start off with why. Like why use it? What are maybe some benefits for it? And where are we seeing it today? So virtual currencies, as you may know, are becoming a sort of a core part of the customer experience across many industries. Outside of traditional subscriptions, where subscribing would unlock a certain tier of access, we now see things such as gems, coins, credits, tokens, and even minutes being offered in all different kinds of apps. And of course, you know that games have been doing this for a pretty long time. Games such as Candy Crush and the purchase of gold bars. But this model has also spread beyond gaming as well. For example, AI tools have credits for generating images and just all sorts of credits that customers can claim to perform some type of action inside the app, whether this is kind of being purchased through trials of currency grants, if they're doing a top up, or kind of this pay per use case as well. And what's great about utilizing virtual currencies is that it also gives a lot of developers kind of options to drive engagement within the app as well. An example is that you can reward customers with free credits for things such as connecting like a Discord account here, whether completing tutorials or participating in events, all without making the app fully free. It helps give a taste a little bit of the app's value, keeps customers engaged, and can also help drive monetization here as well. However, the tricky part is if you were building it yourself, it can become a catastrophe. So for developers, handling virtual currencies is surprisingly hard. It's not just about tracking balances or letting customers spend coins. You also have to securely grant currency, update balances, handle your paywall, and of course, making all of this work across platforms and stores that you offer for your app. And especially if you offer subscriptions, you should know how tricky things get with things like prorations and trials when plans change. Now, imagining adding virtual currencies on top of that, and also handling how much credits or currency you should be depositing to your customers. And if you're already using RevenueCat to handle in-app purchases and subscriptions, you can let us handle this painful part too, so you can focus on your product and features that your customers very care about. And that is why I'm really excited today to talk about the beta of virtual currencies in RevenueCat. This is a way to manage in-app currencies directly within your RevenueCat project, just like you already do with subscriptions and one-time purchases. With RevenueCat's virtual currency, you'll be able to do things, most of the things actually, directly in the dashboard, such as defining and configuring currencies around the dashboard, tracking every balance change, such as grants, spends, all three events that would appear directly in the customer profile, as well as fetching up-to-date balances in our app using our SDK, and of course, doing this all cross-platform and letting us handle all that logic for you. And as a bonus thing on top of that, because virtual currencies are already integrated into RevenueCat, you can still get access to all the features that you know and love, especially from Paywalls that Dan and Josh have talked about earlier, as well as Customer Center out of the box. You can also use targeting and experimentation tools. So you can maybe want to A/B test different currency grants, maybe seeing what hits with your customers. And at a later date, also will be providing chart support that will give you insights into balances, spending behavior, and more. So I also have a demo prepared for this as well to show everything and overall how it works. But before we see that in action, I just wanted to give a quick overview of what you will be seeing today. So in this demo, we will have a currency in our app called Tap, and every time you spend a tap, you will see two cat paws meeting the screen as if they're making a loaf of bread right in your phone. We will walk through creating the Tap currency, displaying the balances in the SDK in two ways, and I'll show you those two ways as well, and also purchasing a couple of taps so you can see how granting, spending, and kind of seeing kind of the pieces connecting together for that. Okay, cool. So time for the demo part and what I'm most nervous about, if it works or not. So our first block is virtual currencies, and in the new menu, you can go over to the product catalog, virtual currency tab, and this is where you can create your new virtual currency. I've actually gone ahead and pre-filled just a little bit of the setup ahead of time because trust me, my typing accuracy drops to about 40% when people are watching, so let's just avoid that altogether. And in here, I have configured my code to be Tap, and this is what we'll be using to pull information just related to our virtual currency here. We've also, let me just go to the edit button, make that easier. We also have a list of icons you can pull from as well. I've just selected this heart one. The name is Tippy Taps, and the description is all the Tippy Taps you can tap. So the first thing, or I guess the second thing now after we set up our currency, is to associate our products to them. We can link products to our virtual currency so that whenever that product is purchased, we will be depositing that currency for the customer on your behalf, kind of auto magically, I guess. And our first step, what I want to do is actually set up a consumable product first to grant currencies. I have some products already set up here from the App Store. So I'll just set up this one Tap consumable here. And this is where you can define what amount of this tap currency should be granted when this consumable is purchased. So for me, I renamed this one tap consumable. I'll give this one amount. And outside of consumables, maybe I want to offer some subscriptions as well. So I've also have a subscription product here. It is a monthly product with a 7-day free trial associated with it. Again, here I can define exactly how many taps the customer gets once they purchase it. And for the sake, I will do 10, where 10 will be granted on the normal renewing period. I also have a trial associated with this product, and I actually want to grant them maybe a less amount during that trial so they can get maybe more of experience of that currency. So for the sake, let's just grant 2 trials for this. So we have our 2 products here, consumable, subscriptions, and let's hit save. So before we go into the app, I also just want to show a quick paywall as well so customers can actually purchase these products. Since you should already hopefully be familiar with RevenueCat, I'll just give you a quick look at what our offering setup looks like. We have one package for my tap consumable, one package for my monthly product, and we will also be using paywalls such as what Josh had mentioned earlier. I'm also using the new tabs as well. Love it, they're great. Now for this paywall, I actually just wanted to point out something super quickly. Here, when I have the 10 fluffy needs every month, at the moment, this is hard-coded. However, we are working on adding additional paywall variables, so this information can be fully dynamic and configurable through our paywall editor. Things like currency amount will be adjustable without needing to update anything else in your paywall other than just adding an additional variable here. Okay, cool. So I showed the setup of virtual currencies, showing what the paywall looks like. Let's switch over to Xcode so you can see just how all this fits together. I just wanted to give a quick heads up here. I've set Xcode to renew every minute, so we might be seeing some quick renewals during this time as well. So here's our app. Basic app here, we have a home screen. Right at the top, we can see our taps remaining, and this is pulled straight from the RevenueCat SDK. As you can see, I haven't bought anything yet. I'm sitting at a very sad 0 taps for this app. But we can just fix that. Let's bring up the paywall. Exact same paywall we configured in the RevenueCat dashboard. And as a brand new customer, I maybe don't want to commit to a subscription just yet. Maybe I'll just start by purchasing just a single tap, low commitment, just getting what I'm paying for as well. Purchase completed, paywall should be going away, and our taps balance also got updated. And again, this is also pulling from our SDK as well. So let's spend that so we can see our cat paws meeting the screen, and there's probably some bread in my phone there that I might need to take out later after this demo. So after we spent that consumable, but you know what? Maybe that wasn't enough for me. I really love seeing those cat paws on the screen. Let's just commit to a monthly subscription so we can kind of see more taps on the screen as well. We can go back to the paywall, and then we can start a trial of the monthly subscription. I'm going to purchase here, and purchase success goes away, and then the taps remaining is 2. So every time I tap, I get those paws meeting the screen, and the balance also counts down. And one thing I wanted to point out is with this taps remaining, if you actually don't want to show the balance yourself, but maybe you want RevenueCat to show that for you, you can actually rely on Customer Center to show you this balance. Let me navigate over real quick to our Customer Center so I can show this new toggle. We've introduced a new display virtual currency balances toggle inside the Customer Center, where now, of course, is what it says. It will display the balances inside the Customer Center. So let me just save these changes real quick. Go back to my app. Let me uncomment this button that is used to display Customer Center. And let me just relaunch it as well. So the app is going to show Customer Center on the bottom button. Might take a couple seconds to build. Succeeded. I think the app is launching now. I'm trying to make sure there's no awkward pauses.
And in the meantime, correct me if I'm wrong, based on that 1 minute renewal, your currency economy might have skyrocketed as you were doing that, right?
Maybe. I guess we'll see if the currency is now here for any renewals. Let me refresh this real quick. Yeah. So a renewal did come in during this time as well. We got one renewal here in the minute we've been in. But yeah, so we have our new Customer Center button on the bottom. And this is where you can see your in-app currencies. I have tapped. It also displays the renewal here. And just as a bonus, this UI is localized, so you'll be able to also update this header to what kind of makes the most sense for your app as well. And kind of outside of paywalls, customer, and the app, there's actually just one more thing happening behind the scenes as well. And this is kind of where the events-driven part comes into it too. We had a bunch of purchases, we had a bunch of renewals. Now let me also show you over to the customer profile to kind of see how these events are going in our side. Let me just refresh this real quick to make sure things are here. And yeah, as you can see from the customer profile, you can now see the journey of this customer as well, where we made the purchase of the product, we granted 1 tap. We've also spent 1 tap as well. We started the trial period, a couple of these got granted, got spent, and we also have a few renewals here that happened during that time where it renewed and will also automatically grant this as well. And in addition to subscriptions, we also support like product changes. So if you're immediately upgrading, we'll handle all that calculation logic on our end and being able to grant the customer the appropriate amount of currency just to make sure that they're not getting additional currencies that they shouldn't be getting. And one last thing that I wanted to share during this demo is that you can see that we have this virtual currencies card on the side, which basically provides a summary of your customer's virtual currency balance. You also notice this edit button here. Essentially, for example, if you had any support use cases where you say you want to offer maybe free credits as a gesture of goodwill, if they're not having a great time, you can do so here. Between you can grant, select the currency, you can also select the amount, grant, and then here it is. We also have the event as well for any of those purchases. So yeah, that brings me to the end of my demo. We are incredibly excited to see what you all build with this. We're still shaping this feature, so if you have any thoughts, ideas, please drop them in the chat or feel free to reach out to us, shout at us on X now or whatever platform you can reach us. So for those that want to get started right away, here's some helpful links to the documentation as well as a feedback form. And yeah, thank you so much for listening today. May your balances stay full, your taps plentiful, and your cat paws forever needing as well.
I love it. We had a couple of questions that Marcos answered, and then a few actually just popped in right at the end. Let's tackle Quentin's first about experimenting for prices with virtual currencies.
Yeah, so I'm assuming for experimentation with prices there, for a lot of features can have it in a separate offering. So for any of those, you can always set up a separate offering for different prices there and being able to maybe also even changing how. Oh no, my internet. Okay,
We
sorry,
lost
my
you for a
internet
second,
went
but
out
you're
for a
back.
little bit. Yeah, good. But yeah, for things like that, like setting up offerings can also be used for pricing. Depending on what product is also attached to the virtual currency, you can also experiment with different grant amounts too within that same currency code.
Nice. Awesome. All right. And then this one from Kyle, I'm actually not sure I understand the question fully. Maybe you might. Is there documentation around how to purchase existing products with virtual currencies? I imagine that's a matter of then just deciding what the grant is for those existing products, the UI that you showed before, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see how to purchase existing products. Yeah, so even with, you don't have to set up a brand new product in RevenueCat to attach to virtual currencies. Even if you have a product here today, you've been using, feel free to attach that, although there might be some change management to do there on your app side. But yeah, you can also use existing products to attach to virtual currencies. You don't have to set up a new one like I did. It might be easier for kind of change management for that, but that's totally not a requirement there.
Word. All right. And then we got one, I think Marcos is answering this right now, but we could just do it live. Is virtual currency supported on Capacitor right now?
Not yet, but because you told us, this will now be on the top back of our heads again. And we currently, right now, the SDKs that we support is, of course, native and as well as React Native and Flutter. And especially as requests come in for Capacitor, I'll put this on the team's list to take a look at as well.
And then one more quick one that just came in from Lars. Is it possible to have actual currency and virtual currency on a product? Maybe correct me if you read it differently. I think that might be a misunderstanding of what we mean by virtual. It's basically just a way to create any currency that you want to and assign a value to it on that product.
Yeah, essentially. I feel like the most like popular like currencies that we see are like gems for games, tokens for AI apps, or minutes for telehealth. Of course, what you do with that currency, and maybe if there's an option way to do it in the app, can always like transfer those virtual currencies to another player. And whether you have an option to redeem, I'm not sure how that works on the apps, but anything from there, it can be as a way to kind of access like the ledger that the customer has for these virtual currencies.
Cool. And Lars, if we got that wrong, feel free to follow up in the chat. We're happy to clarify what you were asking there. Cool. All right. To that end, if anyone does have any other questions, please feel free to keep adding them in. We're happy to see the interest in it. And Tina, thanks so much for the demo. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, everyone.
All right. All right, so next up, very much still in the vein of setting new things up, different kind of thing. We've got a new sample app that we want to show off, and we've got Paul here to do it. Yo, Paul.
Hello. How's it going?
Very good. Thanks for joining us.
Let me share my screen really quickly. Yes, so this is actually my first ever launch party. So yeah, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Paul. I'm a software engineer in the developer experience team. And in the team, we've been working very hard on helping configuring new products and new apps into RevenueCat. So to this effect, we've built a new sample app. And you might actually be wondering, why do we need a new sample app if we've already got like one or two in the repository? Well, we've taken a slightly different spin with the sample app. Instead of just showing you how you can use RevenueCat and making a demo app that you can use and copy all the code across, which might fail if your configuration is wrong, we've kind of made an app that kind of guides you into setting up RevenueCat. And it basically checks the health of the SDK configuration and checks that you've got everything set up for making purchases in your real app. So as you can see, we've got our little RC Friends app icon over here. I'm going to open the app. And there's basically two tabs in the app. We're going to expand on this going forward to provide more functionality. But as of now, we've got offerings and products. And with offerings, we list all of the offerings that you've got in the dashboard, even if the SDK is not returning them to you. And we basically display the status of those offerings. So for example, I've got my current offering called default. I can see how many packages it has. And I've got at a very quick glance, I can see that it's already correctly set up by this icon over here. So when I tap on it, I also see the list of packages, and I can actually see if each of the packages are correctly configured, and if any of them has any issues, as we're going to see with this offering over here. I can see exactly what's going on. So for each of the packages, we pull the underlying product, and we check with App Store Connect with your configuration, given that you've granted that you've given us the keys, the API keys to connect with App Store Connect. We check the status, and if there's something wrong with the status, or if it's in a state that's not ready for production, we flag it and we show it as a warning. We also have a full products view. So this is all of the products that you've set up for Apple platforms in this list, and you can basically see all of them and see that whether they're correctly set up in App Store Connect 2, and any discrepancies in configurations between RevenueCat and App Store Connect will be flagged in this list as well. It is also functional, so you can basically click on purchase and it will launch the purchase sheet. I can subscribe to this, and it will also show us as purchased as well. How do you actually get this sample app? Well, it's part of our repository. Let me see if I can open Xcode really quickly. It's part of our repository, so you can go into the examples folder where the rest of sample apps lives. And you basically have, aside from all of these health checks and configuration checks, you also have a bunch of functional code that you can copy directly into your app. So we've made it in a way that guides you through configuration while also keeping it functional, so you can copy paste code directly into your app. If you go and check it out directly from the repository, you're going to have to set things up like with the rest of sample apps. So you're going to have to populate your RevenueCat API key. You might need store kit configuration. So we've kind of like taken it one step further, and we've tried to do a lot of this setup for you to get you started even quicker. So we've built a couple of things. One of them is an endpoint in API v2. So for any Apple app config that you have, you can literally just hit this store kit config endpoint, and this will return fully functional based on your RevenueCat app config configuration. You will get a fully functional store kit config that you can directly copy paste into your project. This is going to be extremely useful for those of you who are just trying things out and have set up everything in RevenueCat and have not yet set up your products on the store. Now, if you're starting off fresh and you're creating a new product, we've also added a new option to our onboarding. So, for example, if you've completed the previous steps of the onboarding and you've landed on this page, you can hit next with your business model and the products that you want to create. This will create all of your RevenueCat infrastructure. And up until this week, we only had 3 buttons here, but now we've got a download sample app button right over here that I can click, and it will start a download of the sample app for the project that you have set up. I can go into my downloads, open it, and this will contain, once I open it, this will actually contain all of your project completely provisioned for you. So it will populate the bundle identifier for you. It will get all the constants populated as well with the API key. So you don't have to go copy paste anything. You can get started right away. And we will also generate a store key configuration with all of the products that you have set up in the store. So literally, you don't really have to do much in App Store Connect. If you have not created the products or anything, you can literally start right away downloading the sample app. This is only available for now on iOS, but we're going to work very, very soon on bringing it to other platforms. And that's pretty much it from me in terms of the sample app.
Nice. I love it. I feel a little bit silly saying this out loud after just watching it, but like I'll just state it anyway, just to be clear. Of course, we care about making it as easy as possible to extend your app to these other business models and things like that. Part of just making it easy to set up an app is this, right? Like it's
Exactly.
we can't obfuscate the store entirely, but we can make it as easy as possible to work with the store.
Exactly, yeah, and it's a big part of what we've done with the new onboarding as well. You can create products directly in App Store Connect, and with being able to download the sample app, you can immediately get a sense of what your configuration looks like, what the API key is, what the store kit config might look like. So yeah, you get like some production ready code for your app, while also verifying like the configuration for the app as well.
Nice. Awesome. Thanks so much for the demo. I'll just give one quick shout out to the rest of the folks on here. To this end, if you run into like paper cuts in this process of like setting up new products and setting up new apps and things like that, like please keep sending those our way. We've got a whole team dedicated to stuff like this at this point.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thanks so much, Paul.
No worries. Thank you.
All right. Now I do have to call out. We are just over an hour into this. I don't think the term AI has been used once yet, but that is about to change because Engin is here and we have some things that we want to show off that are related to AI.
Yeah, all the spoilers here. Hello, people. Hi, how are you? So let me set up my screen sharing. Okay, share screen. Window. No, sorry. I clicked the wrong button. Share the whole screen, not just the window.
Nice. All right, we've got the poll up here too. That's very much related to the topic we're about to get to.
Exactly. So before I start, like I'm on this demo, I'm going to like introduce you first to our MCP, which we package into a cursor extension. I'll tell you about it. But before I reveal anything, please take the time to answer the poll about like what is your experience with MCPs. Thank you so much. All right, so let's make this big. All right, cursor MCP extension. So we built an MCP extension, and so I'm going to tell you all about it, like what is an MCP and why do we need an MCP in RevenueCat, and I'm going to demo it to you, what it does, and then I'm going to give you some download links so you can like start playing around with it immediately. So I don't see the answers to the polls now, but still, let me like give you a quick overview of what an MCP is. I just like found this quote on the Model Context Protocol IO website where you can read about it, about the protocol itself. It says like USB-C port for AI applications. And MCP essentially defines a standard how you can expose API and data to LLMs. So then LLMs can use your MCP that you provide to be able to access like any API that you defined and grab data or take actions through that API. So that is like really a super powerful universal tool that can empower AI agents to be smart enough, figure things out, and how to use the tools that you provide them to reach any goal that you want them to. And so this is what MCP is. And then why do we need an RevenueCat MCP? So how does it all like hang together? So like we have seen like setting up products and setting up an app and configuration, and we have heard a lot of new users, a lot of new developers who start using RevenueCat face a relatively steep learning curve about like, what is an offering? What's an entitlement? How do I set up my products? So, and we have like the web dashboard that you have already seen and familiar with, and it takes a little bit of time. And we think by also like considering a lot of people right now, AI coding is a thing and are using AI assistants and vibe coding tools and just using AI to write their apps. They would feel more familiar if they could like interact and configure their projects in RevenueCat without ever leaving their AI tools. So to that end, we built a cursor extension which packages our MCP. So like I'm going to switch over to that and show you how that works. And so this is a real app that I'm working on. And so I'm using Cursor to build it. And so we have the RevenueCat extension installed here already. There's a little problem here. As you noticed, the logo is missing. And I'm going to come back to that and tell you why it's missing. It's like complicated things. It's legal things. It's not us. It's Microsoft and Cursor fighting. We'll get to that. But that is the state of things. It works, but the logo is missing. All right, this is an app that I'm building to like help people train for their like ATC exams for pilots, and it is like, let me show you like quickly. Like this is like there's the real app, but we are using the ACT trainer demo right now. We're going to connect it to that, and it's completely empty. There are no products, no entitlements, like no virtual currencies, completely empty. There are no apps defined in this project. So this is literally, I just signed up and created a new project. I already have code, so I want to integrate RevenueCat with my new app. And so I could go here to the product catalog and start defining an entitlement, start defining my offerings. So you all know, I assume, how that works. But let's see how it could work in an MCP world. And to that, like I go like to anywhere. So first, to be able to interact with the MCP, I need to first RevenueCat set project key. So okay, we need the API key because it's an API thing. All right. So I go here. No, integration. Sorry, it's like secret API key. So I'm going to get like MCP demo. Oops, autocorrect. And then it's going to be let's give it like write access as well, because it's not going to be able to change my project configuration. So I'm going to give it full access because like we wrote it, I trust it. All right, so this is like that I am going to copy. And then here I'm going to select RevenueCat, set project secret key. So then I'm going to copy and paste this here. So now project key is saved. So the MCP should be ready to go, but I'm saying this with a little bit of caution because I have seen that the cursor does not pick it up right away when you set the secret key. So let's see if it is ready to go. Otherwise, we might have to restart cursor, but let's see if it does like. So here it has like a placeholder subscription manager class, which is already connected with RevenueCat and does like fetching. It still requires an API key, for instance, so we don't have it yet. And so it does like the usual stuff. There's nothing special here, but let's say, can you please set up an iOS app, RevenueCat, and configure weekly.
And again, one quick
monthly,
question for you, if it's
and-
easy. Someone was asking if it's possible to make this window bigger, so it's a little bit easier to read.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, of course it is. So, oh, and like I'm not quite sure if I can actually also increase the text size of what I'm writing, but I'm going to like read also as I write. So like, can you set up an iOS app in RevenueCat and configure a weekly, a monthly, and an annual subscription? So it is an agent mode, and I'm going to like send this request to Claude for Sonnet. So let's see what happens. So it is thinking, but I think it did not pick up the MCP. Yeah, it is telling me to go to dashboard and do it. So this happens when you first set the project key. Sometimes the MCP does not like correctly get picked up. So then, yeah, like you can stop. You can stop. Like you're not being useful right now. So all right, let's close first. All right, sorry about this. It always happens when you have to like demonstrate something, right? So let's start a new chat. Okay, and you set up an iOS app and RevenueCat and configure weekly and monthly products. I'm going with 2 here because I'm lazy to type. Oh no. Wait. Okay, I'm sorry. Again, telling me to go to RevenueCat dashboard. Let me check my settings if it's. It's disabled. Why is it disabled? Yes. I don't know why it did that. In the recent cursor release, they changed a bunch of like MCP related stuff, and I'm going to come to that later, why the icon is missing. So I think this is a cursor issue. So let's send this again. Now that it's enabled, it should be able to like.
This is good. I feel like we're writing the docs right now of what to watch out for when using an MCP
Yes.
extension in cursor.
Yeah. But success. So we have like, it detected that we have MCP installed. Now it's calling MCP to like get the details of the project that we're working on. So it's called it. All right, you can see the ATC trainer demo and it has the project ID. So now it's trying to get the list of apps. We can actually see the parameters that are getting sent here and verify like the results that is getting. It found out there's like no apps defined in this project. So now it's listing the entitlements in this project. So it's like first trying to figure out what is already defined in this project needs to do. So then it also called list entitlements and found out there are no entitlements defined.
Right. And it's doing
So
that
it
based
is
off of
doing
the context it
that.
has about our API. You're not telling it anything about entitlements. It's just figuring that out as it goes.
No, it's like magic here. Like the problem was like getting it working, but now it's enabled and it's like running. So it looked at the code, it called the list endpoints to figure out like how the project is set up. And then given the prompt that I have written here, it's figuring out on its own the step that it needs to take. So like you can see like it planned, like I need to first create an iOS app and then I need to define an entitlement, then create a weekly monthly product. So like there's a YOLO mode in Cursor, so you can actually like skip this like confirmations, but I'm too chicken for this. Like, hey, this is like AI does its thing, so I don't want it to like create stupid things. So like it's just I can click this button. It's easier than like creating everything in the dashboard. But you can see it is like it created the iOS app, it created the entitlement, now it created the weekly and monthly product. It is then attaching the products to the pro entitlement. Look,
Nice.
Ma, no hands. I'm just like clicking the run tool. I'm not doing anything. Really, I'm a white code. And so it's like attach. And now it's creating packages in the offering with the correct products attached. And I mean, so this is something that's actually getting on my nerves. Like the more I work with Cursor and AI, this actually waiting for it to think and do something. It's like, you know, this XCKD comic where like we're compiling and they're like fighting with swords. This just feels like that. It even takes longer than compiling sometimes.
Yeah. Anyone
Right,
that's
so
recently
it
done all the
attached the
dashboard clicks to do this, though, is like, oh my God, this is so much faster.
Right, and now it is like it's going to get API key as well, and like set it also like attach, like insert it into the file, and it's even going to create like a default paywall for this. So this default paywall creation, it is still a bit like demo purposes thing. It is going to take a template that Dan and Josh were kind enough to like say, hey, this is like a pretty common paywall. Let's use this template. But you can go to the dashboard and then edit the paywall then to your heart's content.
Nice.
And as you can see, it also took the API key and changed the subscription manager file to use the correct API key. And now it is checking its work. So it's like call list offerings. So it did get the offerings, perfect. And I mean, we probably don't need this at this moment, but it's like it's doing the demo for me essentially. It's like even doing like everything. So it's amazing. So there's like the packages and everything. So I was now it's like reporting a summary. Like, yeah. While it's doing that, like we can go here and refresh and see what it did. Right, you see it created the iOS app with
Nice.
the API key that it just inserted into the project. It created like a default offering, which has these monthly and weekly packages with the correct identifiers attached. And I mean, it has like the products defined and entitlements are there too. One important thing, it says like here could not check. Connection issue, make sure the App Store Connect credentials are because they're not configured. This is like a brand new project that they're like nothing configured. So that's why it's not able to check and it's not able to do anything else right now. So, but I can also, what Paul just mentioned with the StoreKit configuration file, I can ask, can you fetch the sorry, I cannot type, StoreKit config file from RevenueCat and set my app up to use it. Let's see what happens. What it's going to do is going to like hit a StoreKit configuration endpoint that Paul just demonstrated. And as you can see, like it found the endpoint and it's calling it, and that will get the StoreKit configuration with the exact config that we just went through, so that I can run the app locally on Xcode and actually see the paywall and do the purchases and everything. So
Nice.
So this is how that works. And I don't know if we can like run this app because the app is integrated with sign in with Apple. I think that doesn't work on the simulator, so I did not think this through. Sorry about that. So that we could see the paywall. But yeah, this app builds, and we've seen the products. You will have to like take my word for it, and also like don't want to like waste too much time. It is correctly set up using the MCP. So this is still like relatively early stage of this, and we are going to keep building on this. And please use it and give us feedback. And if you find anything that's missing, wishes and feature requests, please let us know. This is something we want to keep working on, keep building on. So now the long story about why the icon was missing. So Cursor was using VS Code Marketplace to pull all the extensions, and that's where our extension lives right now. So you can like scan the QR code on the left, or you can click the link on the slide. Sorry. But you can scan the QR code and like see the extension there in the Marketplace. But I think there's legal problems, and Microsoft clarified that they don't want any VS Code forks to be able to access the marketplace. So then Cursor is now cut off from that. That's why the icon is not appearing. I'm not recommending anybody to do anything, but you can search internet for how you could change this and how you could configure cursor to be able to access VS Code Marketplace, or you can scan the second QR code here on the right to download the extension straight away to your local machine, and you can drag and drop into cursor or like any other VS Code fork to be able to use it. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, like anything that you want to, all ears. Thank you so much.
So we got a couple of questions that mostly center around where else can this be used. So the first one was from Stefan asking if there's a windsurf plugin or if it's accessible through GitHub MCP.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but windsurf is also VS Code fork as far as I know. So this v6 file should work in windsurf as well, as far as I know. And I know like people reported they have been able to use the extension, the cursor extension with Claude Code as well. So, and or through GitHub MCP servers. I'm not 100% sure what exactly that question is. If that, like, we are also working on a remote MCP, so you don't have to like install it locally. We are going to be telling you more about this in the coming days and weeks. So it's like almost ready, and we are working on like the final details of it, and it will be available to use very soon as well.
Word. All right. Let me.
Yep. Code. Yes, it is like compatible with like any MCP client. But the cursor extension has like some cursor specific things that uses some cursor API to actually manage your project keys. You've seen I use the shortcut to enter my project key. So this is like some cursor magic happening in the background. So this exact MCP is probably not going to be super easy to configure Cloud Desktop. I'm sure it's possible because the MCP code is in there. You'll have to like do some magic. It would be so much easier to integrate with Cloud Desktop or like other MCP clients once we have the cloud version of the MCP ready.
Right. Cool.
Okay. I hope that answered.
That makes sense. There's one other question in here. We won't answer it live. It's just asking what the exact extension name is instead of trying to do exact verbally. And maybe you could just answer that in the chat after this.
Oh, the extension. You can, in VS Code, you can search for RevenueCat. I think there is like only one RevenueCat extension.
Oh, nice.
That's us.
Nice. Okay. Tudor said they were having trouble finding it. So I guess maybe follow up with us if that's still the case, but try searching for RevenueCat first.
Okay. Both links I can post in the chat. Thank you.
Perfect. Cool. All right. Thanks so much, Engin. This was great. Are you sticking around for our customer center redesign?
Oh yes, I'm here. I'm sticking around here. Thank you.
Awesome, and we've got Kike here for it. Yo, Kike.
Hello.
All right. So the next thing we wanted to show off is some new stuff with Customer Center. I'll let you guys take it away from there.
Yeah, cool. So let me share my screen first. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I'm Kike, and designer, recently joined RevenueCat. So sorry if I missed something. But yeah, first thing is so I think we present Customer Center during the last launch party. So that was like end of the last year, if I'm correct. So as a refresher for people that haven't used Customer Center, what is this? It's a self-service hub that allows your customers to see their current subscription statuses, like manage those subscriptions with cancel, refunds, so on. So you can decide. It allows also you to display like external links to support resources that you may have, email, and collect some feedback on cancellation reasons, or even offer promotions if someone is going to cancel for the Customer Center and provide you like some insight. So this is what has been in production for a couple of months. You can see here how the UI looks like. And of course, we have been working on this for the last couple of months too. So this has been improving. We have been removing some bugs and so on. And I think like 2 weeks ago, this is available from iOS SDK 5.25 and React Native too. And some of the feedback we got is like, yeah, what happens with people that have more than one subscription? So we are allowing I will show you right now. We're allowing like showing more than one subscription, showing the latest one-time purchases, even showing the full purchase history setting. So because people were a bit confused about, hey, wait, I cannot see everything here. So we are adding all of this, and we are taking advantage just to refresh a bit the design and make it a bit more like attached to platform standards. There were like some minor comments about icons. I don't know what this icon does and so on. So we try to fix this. So let me share. If Engen presentation was tiny, the text, this is going to be huge because I'm going to screen mirror my phone. So the application is going to look huge. But give me 1 second. Okay. I guess you can see my iPhone, right?
Oh, you're on iOS 26. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm a designer. I had to
living dangerously.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if this works. Cool. So no, actually, I need to close the application and open it again. So you have this app. I have integrated the customer center here. This is how it looks if the customer hasn't purchased anything, but I'm going to restore my purchases because I have buy a bunch of stuff here. So you can see that this is how it looks. This is like the new customer center when you can see all the things that this customer or the customer can see all the things that he or she has bought, right? So you can see here I have several subscriptions active at the same time. So I can click any of those and change plans or cancel subscription, request a refund. These actions, of course, are customizable, so you can select which one to offer. But if in case you have more, the customer has more than one subscription, we saw all of them here with the related actions. We saw the latest purchases, so this is also new. And you can see even the list of all the purchase history of this customer. Can see all the subscriptions active, inactive, and all the things that I have bought in this application. So I can see like more details about everything. But yeah, I think this is mostly it. I don't know, Engen, if you want to add something else. But yeah, this was like a quick demo. This is available already on iOS and React Native, coming soon to Android. So please share your feedback with us. We are working on more stuff like change plans. There is some things happening there, but that's coming next.
Nice. I love it. What's so cool about the customer center? Oh yeah, go ahead, Engen.
No, I was just going to say, like, just one little thing to add. We've been hearing a lot about change plans because, especially if you're doing price testing, right now the default change plans implementation shows all the products in that subscription group, and we hear you. The feedback has arrived. It's a bit confusing, and we're going to fix it soon.
Nice. And yeah, all I was going to add is that you can kind of tell just from looking at the screen, there's a lot of little details to pull in to get like the experience of this right based on what the customers purchased, the information that they're looking for, all that jazz. It's the type of thing that's frequently like just a little bit too tedious to set up yourselves. So if you don't have an experience like this in your app today, like definitely check out the customer center because it's going to save you a lot of effort trying to orchestrate this all yourself ahead of time.
Yeah, we spent a bunch of time discussing about the different modules. Like this is coming from an offer, this is coming from a grant. So yeah, there's a lot of use cases here that we didn't saw, but yeah, absolutely.
Right. Awesome. I love it. All right. Thanks so much, Kike. If anyone has any questions about Customer Center in the chat, feel free to add them in. We'll answer them as we get to them. We do have one other demo that we want to show off related to just making support a little bit easier. To pull that one off.
We do.
Yeah, we've also got Pantelis joining us in just a moment, and we'll be able to showcase what that is. Here we go. Go, Pantelis.
Hey, everyone. So my name is Pantelis. I'm a software engineer at the developer experience team. And similar to how Engin mentioned before that you never have to leave your editor to set up your product. A similar thing is you never have to leave your Zendesk dashboard to have more information about your customers. So I'll go straight ahead to the demo. I have created a few sample tickets. Let me share the right thing. Okay. Can you see my screen? Is the size of the text right? Okay. So I have created a few sample tickets myself, as you may see. I like imagination. The ticket requester is Pantelis, and Pantelis. But those are two different requesters, as you can see from the different names there. the extension, the plugin is upcoming. It's publishing. We are putting the finishing touches, but I'll showcase how it works. So let's start with the first ticket. We receive a ticket, a support ticket through email or something, and you see right here after you install the Zendesk app. You have right there, without needing to visit your dashboard, try to search for a customer, etc. Information about the customer. How does this work under the hood? You may see that a first format of a ticket created may be one that includes the app user ID in a kind of a label or tag in the support ticket, in the email body. How this can be achieved? You can have create a support ticket or send an email from within your app, and you can enrich the content of the support ticket, of the email content, with the app user ID right there. And this will automatically work. It will pick up the app user ID, it will search for it, and it will pull the information about the customer in here. Information such as like their total spend, the app version they are using, all kinds of information that are useful for debugging or for responding to the customer. Past purchases, either one-time purchases or subscriptions, the rest of the customer attributes that you may have set up from the SDK. And this is one way it works. There are multiple options here. What if this is not available in the support ticket? The second thing that the app checks for is the email customer attribute. So if you have been setting the email customer attribute from the SDK,
Nice.
this is trying to match it with the ticket requester's email, and it will also automatically link to this profile. And of course, there's only so much space in here, and there's like a few select pieces of information shared, but we have a direct link. Even just a direct link can save some time from instead of searching for a specific customer, and you can see the customer profile page in the RevenueCat dashboard. So this is one example of a ticket that we may receive. So seeing here the list of the tickets as a kind of a timeline, we received this ticket first. What has happened under the hood is that we have linked this email from the ticket requester to this app user ID. So the second time that the same user sends a support ticket, even if it's from a different channel, let's say a direct email or something, and doesn't include that, we are still able to pull the customer profile. And as long as it's from the same email. The third case is when we have never seen this user before. So, sorry, I pulled the same one, this one. And we have no way of identifying the user. In that case, we can easily search still from within the Zendesk app, either using an email if we have set the email customer attributes in the customer attributes, or using the ID if we have it available through some other way. So I will use a customer ID here, or I will use Engin's email, just to showcase that if
That's
there are
me.
multiple matches,
Now
we
we're-
can.
Thank you.
Anyone can send emails to Engin through this. And if there are multiple matches, because there might be, we can choose the right one, and we can see this extra information. And we don't want to do that all the time or every single time that we receive an email from the specific ticket requester, from the specific customer. So we have a way to manually link permanently this Zendesk profile identified by this email with the specific customer. And once we do it, all follow emails that will arrive after that
Nice.
will link to this profile right away. And that's pretty much it, actually.
Nice. I love it. Let me do a quick shout out for the attribute section that you have there. I could kind of instantly imagine then that if there are different things that you just need to know about your customer before you can go respond to them, like the features that they've used, you know, whether they're on your old free tier before you had purchases or something like that. If you send that to RevenueCat as an attribute, then you'll just get that automatically in here, the same way you might otherwise have to get it in like your own admin interface today.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And also one thing to add here is like this is right now in Zendesk review process. So if you want to, if you think Apple reviews are hard, Zendesk reviews are harder. But we are able to give beta access if you're using Zendesk and RevenueCat. Please let us know. You can email me at engin@revenuecat.com. Now, internet knows my other email, and request beta to I see intercom is hopefully coming soon.
Nice.
Zendesk reject. Yes.
Don't tell Rick. Someone hide that message. Cool. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Like with all the others, we'll stick around in the chat if you guys have any other questions about this this integration. But really appreciate the demo, folks.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. So with that, we've got one last thing just to wrap up and show off. You guys have been getting a tour through the new dashboard experience over the course of this whole launch party. We just want to wrap up and share a little bit more about it as well. So to do that, Barbara and I believe Ika are going to be joining.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
hello.
welcome back, Ika. Hi, Barbara.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Barbara. I'm the product designer in the monetization team and one of the designers that worked on the redesign of the navigation. And yeah, as I was saying, you've already seen throughout the whole session some sneak peek of it, but we've made, some changes to the design of our product. And yeah, we're just excited to share a bit more about, why we made these changes and why we hope you will love them. So yeah, we kept kind of adding new features like paywalls, web billing, customer centered, all these features that we were building to RevenueCat. The previous top nav bar that we had got pretty crowded and some features were, hard to find. We got some feedback from customers saying things like switching projects that are hard, finding a specific feature is tricky, or like directly, I didn't know that feature even existed because I've never seen it before. So we kind of stepped back and just reimagine the navigation from the ground up. And yeah, that's why we wanted to share a bit more today. So I'm going to share my screen. So when you open RevenueCat, you basically land in overview, just as before. And you see the data across all your projects, exactly the same as before. From here, you can easily jump into charts to see the different metrics across all of your projects. So for example, you can see, your combined revenue across all the projects that you've set up. Then, we can go from seeing the data across all of your projects to a specific one. So you can either use appeals here at the top to switch between projects, just using one click, or there's a project switcher here at the top too. When you select a project, the vertical menu opens, as we can see here, and you can see that basically you have all the project features, including now projects, charts, and customers. And I'm just gonna walk through that for a second. And yeah, we can also, collapse the menus if you want a fully to be fully focused on your workflow. And other things that we want to highlight. So the color accent of your app icon is the one that we'll use for the theme. And it's like an easy way to kind of remind and keep you in the context of what is the project that you're seeing. So you can see that when we switch between them, the theme changes. We've already seen from Tina's presentation that we have this new product catalog where we've grouped offerings, products, entitlements, and virtual currencies together. And then the other thing that I wanted to highlight is platforms here at the bottom. So here you'll basically be able to find every platform, so every app, web that you've ever configured, your iOS app, Android, web billing, Stripe. You'll also be able to find here your public API keys and your secret API keys. And yeah, this is like some very quick highlights that I just wanted to touch on. But the idea is that, we think this new navigation is better for everyone in the end for just like a couple of different reasons. You'll be able to navigate faster with fewer clicks around the full product. You will, find features where you actually expect them, like charts and customers now living under the context of a project. And you'll be able to stay focused with, the full screen editor like we have right now in Paywalls. And it will allow us to grow the product without any other clutter, because the structure is just ready for all the future tools that we know we want to keep adding and keep building. And yeah, now Iga's going to explain a bit how we're rolling this out.
Yeah, so we'll be rolling this out today to everyone. And for some time, you'll still be able to switch to the old navigation. You'll be able to do it clicking on the help button that Barbara is showing right now. And also in the account interface settings. Exactly. And there you can also see the button to share feedback. And obviously your feedback is super, super helpful. Please let us know what you think about it. I hope we love it. You love it just as much as we did internally and in the beta. So yeah, thank you. And we're looking forward to hearing more about your experience with it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. It's been a fun process internally of going from like switching between using the two and then using the new dashboard experience a little bit. And then now when I stumble on the old one, I'm like, oh, get me out of here. Back to the new one. So yeah, like Iga said, we're hoping you guys feel the same way.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys. So with that, we are about to wrap up. We are an hour and 46 minutes into this thing. If you stuck around the whole time, thank you very, very much for doing that. I'll just give a very quick shout out. There's plenty of other stuff going on in RevenueCat that we don't have time to demo on a call like this. We already went almost 2 hours. There's some new features for Apple search ads that help you analyze your data easier, like being able to segment your charts by Apple search ads keyword or claim type. There's some integration updates that you should be aware of, some new stuff on Braze. Meta Ads now supports the conversions API. We have a brand new customer.io integration if that's a tool that you use. We have anomaly detection notifications that are in beta. And candidly, probably a lot more than the things that I added to this slide. If you're looking to keep up with the new things that are happening around RevenueCat, definitely follow us on X. We will post things there pretty much all the time when we have something that you think you should be aware of. Beyond that, subscribe to our newsletter. You probably get that monthly already. And other than that, you've hopefully seen from the demos today. I mentioned at the top, we review our mission as helping apps make more money. We have a pretty wide definition of what that means. That means making the dashboard a little bit easier to use. That means supporting new business models that might not be easy to use within RevenueCat today, building tools like Paywalls and Customer Center to make it a little bit easier to handle those pain points. So all of that to say, if you run into pain as an app developer, challenges along the way of trying to grow your business and make more money, we want to hear about it. We have a pretty wide view of what's worth tackling in that domain. So hopefully you got a sense of that today. Definitely let us know when you run into other pain and problems in the future. We'd love to try to address those, and we'll see you at some point in the future for another launch party with the next round of launches. So thanks very much, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.